What if I told you you can help yourself edit your podcast before you're done recording? Welcome back, everybody. I'm Brendan Woolwine, the head editor at recordeditpodcast.com. In the past, I've talked about the problem of people not wanting to start their podcast because they don't think they have the right equipment. Well, today, I want to talk about another massive roadblock people run into when they try to start a podcast. Let's imagine that you get over the first hump of not having the right equipment. You've watched my other videos and you learned that the equipment that you have now is good enough to start with. But now you're starting to edit your podcast and you realize that you've been mumbling, taking weird breaths because you're running out of air, you're saying and all the time. This is the second roadblock. In order for your podcast to sound really good and flow really well, you're gonna have to edit out all of those mic bumps, long pauses, filler words, and that can be a huge task when you start tackling your first edit on your podcast. So now I want to talk about some ways to avoid a huge edit job. Stop. I want you to pay close attention to this part of the video. I have proof that this first tip is way more important than you think it is. If you mumble a sentence, pause, and then re-say it. Trying to edit out somebody's mumble in the middle of a word can be super frustrating. Sometimes you might even have to scrap an entire segment because people kept stumbling over their words. Now, why did I tell you to pay close attention to this part of the video? There was nothing special about it. Well, here are some attempts that I had to cut in order for this to flow really well. Stop. Collaborate. Stop. Hammer time. Stop. Wait a minute. Fill my cup. Stop. Collaborate and listen. I can't do this. Stop. Hammer time. Alright, I gotta do this for real. Stop. Now I forgot. Stop. That was aggressive. Stop. I can't even start this. Okay. Here we go. This is for real? Stop. I want you to pay close attention. All of that with one cut that you probably already forgot about. Better yet, if you have two cameras, just cut to the other camera and cover up the spot that you edited out. I edit some really big shows, and I promise that second method is just nobody notices. But this only works if you pause and say your sentence again. Moving on to the second tip. Make sure you put your microphone in a comfortable spot and you can move your head around and still get a consistent volume. It's also important that your podcast sounds like you're having a genuine conversation, and you don't want to cover up your face with your microphone, because your audience likes to see your face, and honestly, your guest needs to. It's part of how people communicate. I could continue talking the way that I have been for this entire video, or I can glue my face to my microphone and not move at all. I do want to put an emphasis on moving your head a little bit, because if you move your head too far away, you'll sound like you're talking from the other room. The third tip might sound a little silly, but make sure your guest is sitting in the right spot. It's important to get the best mic quality, and to do that, you need to talk directly into your microphone. You don't want to be turning your head constantly to talk to your podcast guests. That is, if your podcast is in person. If you're using a camera, draw a straight line from your mouth to your mic, and then from your mic to your camera. Those lines shouldn't move left or right a whole lot, but make sure you lower your mic so we can see your sparkling face. The last tip is the easiest. Have fun while you're recording. And I don't mean that in a corny end of the video way. If you're making podcasts with casual conversations and you're not enjoying yourself, people will notice. And if you're talking about a serious subject, make sure it comes from the heart. Some of our biggest shows have really heavy subjects, and those shows really shine when the host has a genuine love for his guests and his audience. So that's all for this week. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we're getting some really cool questions in our comments. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have, whether it be in the comment section or perhaps in another video. Now, to close out, I have one big announcement. You can enter for a chance to be featured on our podcast of the week, which includes placement on the Record Edit podcast and our weekly newsletter that goes out to over 200 podcasting industry pros. Complete the short survey below to be entered, and don't forget to link the trailer to your podcast. If you don't link it, we won't be able to feature you. Thanks again, everybody. Again, I'm Brendan Woolwine from recordeditpodcast.com, and I can't wait to see your comments down below. Have a good week. Bye, guys.